First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash, and the Monsters Green Millstone, while lunch is truth, and also to those elect that are scattered abroad. I like to say Shalom, and come back here today with another great, powerful lesson to the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So the type of day lesson is every friend is not your friend. So I like to say Shalom to all alayhi salam. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today, let's have a quick news article here by Fox 11, Los Angeles. So it reads, it's a UPS driver killed by childhood friend, co-worker. So we're going to constantly see this type of judgment constantly coming forth each and every day. The Lord already said, first my judgment would start at the house of Israel. So one thing about it, we already know that this happened a couple of days ago. I'm not going to read the article. I'm going to bring out this news video in a minute. But anyway, we know that this guy they was so-called childhood friends. Also, they was co-workers working at UPS. But something transpired whereby his friend shot him 14 times. So we already know that, hey, we don't know what could have happened to this. So one thing about it, the Lord said, be circumspect, redeem the time wisely. When they've been talking about circumspect, knowing your surrounding, knowing that the people that you're dealing with, the one that you're calling your friend, they could also be your enemy. And one thing about it, the Lord already said in Matthew chapter 10 that, your entire family will become your worst nightmare, your enemy. So we seeing that also, fathers and sons against one another, also mothers and daughters and so forth and so forth. So Lord's constantly bringing forth that division. The Lord's bringing forth what? Judgment, and one thing about it, he's getting ready to get his house in order. So I think these two guys were from the northern tribe, if I'm not mistaken. But one thing about it, we know that, is no one perish being innocent. So we seeing that these things going to constantly pick up left and right. And also we know that the love of many is constantly waxing colder and colder. And also that vengeance of spirit is constantly working. These death angels, man, the Lord is sending them out left and right. And also the Lord is visiting the earth that he created. And also in the news, it's all the talks about was, this storm that's getting ready to hit Texas also, another storm is coming through there some part, I think, of the night, so, we got to constantly be watching, we seeing that, these prophecies are constantly speaking loud and clear. And also we know we get ready to transition into this digital society, us under surveillance. All sorts of things are coming upon us. Also that grain of rice and World War III is constantly popping out. So we see right here, once again, UPS driver killed by childhood friend as a co-worker. So one thing about it, everyone is not your friend. So, that's why you got to have a spirit of discernment. These things going to constantly pick up left and right. All sorts of horrific murders is getting ready to take place. We're already seeing that Eve, a lot of women are becoming unalive. We're seeing now a lot of men are coming unalive. So the body count is getting ready to be great. 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but that third shall be left. Those are the chosen, the true believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So I have this quick news video right quick, and after the video, we will start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified for more edification.
New details have emerged tonight regarding the tragic killing of a UPS driver last Thursday in Irvine. Prosecutors now say the suspect is the driver's childhood friend and co-worker. Fox 11's Gina Silva, she's live in Irvine now with the very latest for us. Gina?
Marla, the killer is being described as cold and calculated, while the victim is being remembered in a different light. Just take a look at this makeshift memorial. People are leaving flowers, candles, UPS jerseys. Tonight, we also spoke with the victim's neighbor, who is struggling to deal with such a tremendous loss. She asked us not to show her face on camera.
And I was in a state of shock.
Expedito Cuesta de Leon is remembered by his neighbor as a kind man, young at heart, and looking forward to starting a new phase in his life.
He could not wait to retire. That's what even makes it worse. I mean, he talked about retiring in like a year and a half.
But on May 16th, De Leon, who was 50 years old, was stalked and ambushed, shot at 14 times in a matter of seconds while sitting in his UPS truck in Irvine. The shooter was allegedly his childhood friend and UPS co-worker, 46-year-old Rian Fontanosa.
I was speechless when I found out.
The Orange County District Attorney's Office is charging Fontanosa with special circumstance murder for allegedly stalking and ambushing De Leon. In a press release, prosecutors explained how Fontanosa had reportedly asked a different UPS driver for information on De Leon's route. He was also allegedly seen at the UPS Aliso Viejo substation, accessing a computer that shows driver routes and taking a picture with his phone. Shortly after that, just before 3 p.m., De Leon was gunned down, murdered in cold blood while taking a break in his UPS van. Heartbreaking news for his family and friends.
That somebody would do something like that to such a nice person.
Fontanosa is being held without bail. If convicted, he is eligible for the death penalty. And Marla, Alex, at this point, we still don't know the motive.
So we seeing that the Lord is constantly bringing forth that judgment. Hey, we men of the Lord, we constantly reporting on these things 24/7, and they constantly going out on a daily basis. We seeing these prophecies. We seeing people coming unalive each and every day, but we still have that same rebellious how still are not hearing, still are not seeing, and all these things are going down right before our eyes. They can call a lockdown. They can, these martial law or these UN troops can come in here, all of a sudden, and the enemy coming like a flood. So we at that time right now. So let's start today's lesson. And once again, we don't know why this guy unalived his so-called best friend, also a so-called childhood friend and co-worker. We don't know why. Could he been sleeping with his wife, or could it been about money, or could they been lovers? We it's still a developing story. But one thing about it, we already know that there is judgment from Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. No one perish being innocent. And one thing about it, there's no new thing under the sun. So let's start today's lesson. Another quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 5 said, the just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity every morning, do as he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So we see it right there. The Lord is constantly bringing forth his judgment every morning. And one thing about it, we seeing that the unjust knows no shame. They constantly walking around, not considering the signs of the time. The 2/3. They still are thinking that everything is going to be all right. Right? This guy, he was going on with his daily life. He's at his job. He's trying to provide for his family. Saying he's an upstanding person. But one thing about it, you got to pay for what you have done in your past life, in this life. And one thing, if you can receive it through the spirit. But one thing about it, that we seeing that these things gonna constantly pick up left and right. Oh, he was a good man. Oh, this and why did this happen? Oh my, But one thing about it, we gonna constantly see more and more of these things gonna pick up a time of trouble that we've never seen before. Let's read this once again. The just Lord is in the midst thereof. He will not do iniquity every morning. Do he bring his judgment to light? So that's what the Lord is doing. He's constantly bringing that judgment to light. And it's going to constantly pick up and escalate. Our salvation at the door. And also the great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua it said, he faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. So we already talking about this rebellious house. They are still not considering. They still are despising and mocking. Still are being unbelief. Oh, that just something just happened. It was an accident. Or this man was evil. No, that's the Lord's judgment. Whether you will hear, whether you will forbear. So let's go here to Matthew's. Just random scriptures. Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. And verse 12, Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12, it said, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. So that's exactly what we're seeing. Love of many is waxing very cold. We're seeing people a love of themselves, selfish, self-will, very evil, very covetous, we seeing it each and every day, and also we seeing also a lot of increased violence. Wickedness is exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So Lord's getting ready to cleanse this place, with that fervent heat. So we are very close to these times. So we seeing that the love of many is constantly waxing cold and cold. People are coming unalive, left and right, all sorts of murders, killing, shooting, you know what I'm saying, and so forth and so forth. Things are happening at a alarming rate. Why all these things are happening? Because what? We're living in the end time, real time. Bible prophecy is speaking loud and clear. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 12 again said, because iniquity shall abound. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing that right now. We're seeing it constantly increasing. Wickedness is all over the place. You know what I'm saying? This place is spiritually called Sodom and Gomorrah. This place is getting worse and worse, and the love of many shall wax cold. So we're seeing that people have these demonic spirits on them, each and every dark spirits upon them. You know what I'm saying? So the world is in what? Gross darkness. But one thing about the Lord is constantly shedding light on all this wickedness, but with this wisdom, this knowledge, this understanding. Let your light shine. So now let's go here. Let's go here to Job chapter 4 and verse, I think it's 5. Job chapter 4 and verse 7, Salaki. Job chapter 4 and verse 7, he said, remember, I pray thee, whoever perishes being innocent, or word the righteous cut off. Verse 8 say, even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. So one thing about it though, if you sow in wickedness, you're gonna reap the same. You know what I'm saying? You will reap what you sow. And also no one perish being innocent. So one thing about it, even though he was upstanding in this lifetime, we don't know what we have done in our last lifetime. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe in reincarnation. You have been here several times before, but this is the last time, right before what? The great and glorious return of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. The Lord said, affliction shall not rise up a second time. So this is it. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it is that, you know, so we seeing that the Lord is doing a mighty work. We seeing that, you know, a war is constantly brewing. We know we coming upon this transition period. This is this global reset. We seeing that the devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath. So we gonna constantly see these things constantly pick up. We're very excited. We are rejoicing. So now let's go here. Let's go here. Now let's get verse 9, Salakia. Job chapter 4 and verse 9 said, by the blast of the Almighty they perish, by the breath of his nostril are they consumed. So one thing about it, you're here today and you're gone tomorrow. So, hey man, one thing about it, if it's the Lord's will, you do this or that. So he went to work, but it wasn't the Lord's will for him to come home. You know, it's over with. You know, so once your number come up, that's it. But now let's go here to James. I think it's James chapter 4 or 5, what I'm trying to look for. Let's go to James. You know, I just quoted it, you know, and if it's the Lord's will, let's go here. I think it's James, I think it might be 4 and 14. Let me see. Yes, I think I'm right here. Yes. James 4 and verse 13. It said, go to now, ye that say today or tomorrow, we will go unto such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain. So, you know, just like, you know, a lot of people, you know, so I'm going to work tomorrow, you know, I'm going here tomorrow, or I'm going to visit my parents tomorrow, you know, say, hey, I'm going to purchase this, or I might go on this trip. So, you know, if it's the Lord's will. So let's go here to verse 14. Said, whereas ye know not what shall be on tomorrow, for what is your life? Say, it is even a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanish away. So you here today, you gone tomorrow. So you can walk right at the door and be your last time, you know. And one thing about it, you know, when the Lord called you home, it can't no one escape the hands of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Verse 15 said, for that ye ought to say, if the Lord's will, we shall live and do this or that. So one thing about it, you got to always be watching, praying, you know what I'm saying, have a sober mind, you know what I'm saying, you know, be in the secret place of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, always meditating day and night, asking the Lord to have mercy on you, asking the Lord to sustain you, protect you, guide you, camp your angels around me, Lord, if it's the Lord's will. And one thing about it is, you know, we all are doing the Lord's will, whether you believe it or not. There is no do thy will spirit. We all are doing the will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, whether it's good or bad. And one thing about it, the Lord is in perfect control. So we seeing right here that, you know, you can't call everyone your friend. So let's go here to Sirach. Let's go here to Sirach chapter 37. It's, you know, it's got a little few scriptures in there about how your friend, how they act and stuff like that. So this guy never was his friend. You know, he's always was his enemy. He found out, but it was too late. Let's see, Sirach chapter 37 verse 1. It says here, every friend says, I am his friend also, but there is a friend which is only a friend in name. So one thing about it, this is what this is saying, that they're only carrying the title. Some of them say, I'm your friend, but behind closed door, they constantly, doing all sorts of wickedness and deceit against you, trying to overthrow you. And one thing about it, that's why the Lord said, never trust thy enemy. And saying one thing about it that we seeing right now, this man was this dude enemy from day one, even from childhood. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord ain't making no mistake. He always hated this man. And one thing about that, we seeing that, hey, it's manifest. These spirits of vengeance are working overtime. People have demons on. That's why the Lord said, hey, you got to be circumspect, knowing who you are dealing with, knowing your surrounding, knowing who you are calling your friend. And one thing about it, the only one is your friend is the one that's due to what? The will of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So now let's go here to verse 2. It said, is it not a grief unto death when a companion and friend is turned to an enemy? So that's exactly what happened. They turned into an enemy, whether the other guy knew it or not, the one that was unalive. So they was enemy. He never did know it. So this man was secretly being an undercover friend, which in fact he was doing things deceitfully. Basically, he was his so-called enemy and caused him his life. Let's see, verse 3 he said, O wicked imagination, whence camest thou? Said, into cover the earth with deceit. Verse 4 said, there is a companion which rejoices in the prosperity of a friend, but in the time of trouble will be against him. So one thing about so you have a whole lot of friends, a so-called friend. Soon as everything is good, everything is well with you. You got a good job, you making good money, and also you can help all your friends out. Constantly getting whatever they want from you. But as soon as the time of trouble comes or some type of adverse, all of them are do a sketch out, even cause you to fall. Cause your downfall. And one thing about it, so they all will leave you. And one thing about it, that's how you know that you have a true friend in adversity. And one thing about this truth is, the Lord is our true friend, even though we're suffering, but the Lord is suffering right along with us. We're bearing the indignation of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. One thing about it, to the Lord, execute judgment for us. So the Lord has started judgment right now. We're seeing it's happening left and right. So one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to weed out all the undesirables, all the 2/3, the one that's constantly shaking and faking, saying they are your friend, but they are not. And the Lord is shedding light on all this wickedness. He's exposing people, left and right. So one thing about it, you cannot run, you cannot hide. The Lord's eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun. The Lord will expose you. So that man basically got exposed. So we see him right now. Whatever reason was, he unalived him. So let's go here. And basically, he was not his friend at all. He was the devil that the Bible speaks of. You unalived his friend like that. Man, hey, we're going to constantly see these things pick up left and right. So let's go here to Daniel. Let's go here to Daniel, because this is exactly what happened. A lot of people, everyone is standing in their lot. Daniel 12 and verse 10. And we'll get one more and we'll close out. And it reads that many shall be purified and made white and tried, but the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. And who is the wise? The true believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh. We foreseeing the evil before it get here. Also you got to be spiritual to see what's coming. So one thing about it, we already know that the wicked will do wickedly. So we gonna constantly see these things pick up left and right. There's no accident. You know what I'm saying? This was meant to happen the way it happened. So you're gonna see more murders, more suicides, more killing, more shootings, all sorts of death and destruction is coming upon us. So everyone is standing in their lot. Either you wicked or you righteous. So we see and we hear, either you just or you unjust. So so one thing about it, the Lord is causing all these things to come upon this earth. Judgment is now at hand. So now let's go to our last and final script. Let's go to Ephesians. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. We close out here. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. And it reads, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So one thing about it, you got to know your surroundings. Like this man just slipped up on this man and shot him 14 times. He's one not aware of his surroundings. That's why the Lord said, look around you, 360 degrees. You got to look around, knowing what time that you're living in, knowing the environment, knowing the people that you are dealing with. And one thing about it, hey, we seeing that we're here, man. Be circumspect. knowing what time that you're living in, knowing your environment. You know, hey man, you got to, hey, if you get caught slipping, that's what exactly what's going to happen to you. You know what I'm saying? Verse 16 said, redeeming the time because the days are evil. And also, you know, it was just his time to go. So it was nothing he was going to be able to do about that. The Lord brought forth his judgment. So that's exactly what's happened. So you can watch all you want to, but if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. So salaki on that. But anyway, one thing about it is that we know that we're here. So once again, see then that ye walk circumspect, not as fool, but as wise. Verse 16, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So, you know what I'm saying? You got to redeem your time very wisely because we're living in some dark, perilous time. These times going to constantly get more evil and more wickeder each and every day. It's getting very dark. One thing about it is that, you know, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of the time. And one thing about it, if the Lord is not on your side, you will be totally destroyed. And we constantly warn you left and right. We are here. It is at the door. The hour of temptation, also Jacob's trouble, is fast approaching. Verse 17 said, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. So you got to know what the will of the Lord is, knowing what time that you're living in, the signs of the time, the prophecies of speaking. The days are evil. You know what I'm saying? Constantly growing evil and evil. You know what I'm saying? It's getting very more and more perilous times are coming upon us. You know, because we're here, we're living in the last days. And a lot of our people still are being more rebellious, you know, more wicked, you know, more murderers, you know, more murdering, you know, more killings, you know, more suicide, all sort of death and destruction is coming. You know, it's at a fast pace. And one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to bring forth that judgment that we have never seen before. So, you know, you can't call everyone your friend because they're going to show their true colors eventually. So everyone is standing in their light and things are manifesting themselves right before our eye. And also we're living in the end time, real time. So the title of the day lesson, once again, watch, pray, and be sober, because one thing about it, hey man, we're here, man. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is every friend is not your friend. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushua, by Hashem, Rikah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.